Welcome to my channel. Today we looked at the United States of America 1946 5-cent coin with E pluribus unum, in God we trust, and liberty. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Do you want me to create a series of outros for different coins, nickel, dime, penny, etc., so you can easily reuse them? Welcome to my channel. Today we looked at the United States of America 1946 5-cent coin with E pluribus unum, in God we trust, and liberty. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Do you want me to create a series of outros for different coins, nickel, dime? Here's a very long, detailed single-paragraph explanation of the 1946 United States 5-cent coin, Jefferson Nickel, that can easily last 20 minutes when read slowly with emphasis, designed for your channel or narration style. The United States of America 1946 5-cent coin, popularly known as the Jefferson Nickel, is an important issue in American numismatic history because it marked the first regular year of production after the conclusion of the Second World War, and it symbolizes both the continuity of American coinage and the nation's post-war recovery. On the obverse of the coin, you find the enduring portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, author of the Declaration of Independence, and a central figure in shaping the American Republic. This left-facing profile of Jefferson was designed by sculptor Felix Schlag, who won a public competition in 1938 when the U.S. Mint sought a new design to replace the long-running Buffalo nickel. Surrounding Jefferson's portrait are the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," to the left, curving along the rim, and "Liberty," with a separating star to the right, followed by the date 1946, clearly identifying the year of issue. Unlike wartime nickels struck from 1942 to 1945, which had a special composition of 35% silver, 56% copper, and 9% manganese to conserve nickel metal for military purposes, the 1946 Jefferson nickel marked the return to the standard copper-nickel alloy, 75% copper, 25% nickel, restoring the metallic integrity of the coin that continues to this day. The reverse design is equally distinctive, featuring an image of Monticello, Jefferson's iconic Virginia home, with its neoclassical dome and columns carefully rendered to highlight the architectural beauty of the structure. Above Monticello is the Latin motto, E pluribus unum, meaning, out of many, one, symbolizing the unity of the American states. Beneath Monticello is the word Monticello, in bold lettering, the denomination, 5 cents, directly below that, and at the bottom rim the inscription, United States of America. The coin weighs 5 grams, has a diameter of 21.2 millimeters, and features a plain edge, making it recognizable both by sight and by touch. Mint marks in 1946 appear to the right of Monticello on the reverse and included D for Denver, S for San Francisco, and no mint mark for Philadelphia, which produced the largest share of the mintage. In total, over 161 million nickels were struck across the 3 mints in 1946, ensuring widespread circulation. However, while most examples are common in worn condition, high-grade pieces with sharp strikes, full steps on Monticello, or proof-like qualities are highly sought after by collectors today. The coin also carries historical significance because 1946 was the very first year after the conclusion of World War II, when millions of Americans were adjusting to peacetime life, and coinage production symbolized stability and a return to normalcy. As such, the 1946 Jefferson nickel is more than just a piece of currency. It is a tangible reminder of Jefferson's lasting legacy, the triumph of Allied victory, and the economic rebuilding that would define the post-war United States. Collectors value this coin not only for its affordable accessibility but also for its position at the crossroads of wartime and peacetime minting. Many numismatists see it as the beginning of a new era, when the United States transitioned from wartime sacrifice back to domestic prosperity. Even though hundreds of millions were minted, pristine uncirculated examples or those struck with full steps detail on Monticello can command premiums far higher than face value, proving how quality and preservation deeply affect coin value. This coin also set the stage for the longevity of the Jefferson design, which remained essentially unchanged until 2004 when the Westward Journey nickels temporarily modified it, and later the 2006 redesign updated Jefferson's portrait. For those who hold the 1946 Jefferson nickel, it is not merely a 5-cent piece but rather a small, enduring artifact of America's history. Carrying Jefferson's ideals of liberty, America's unity expressed in E pluribus unum, and the faith of a nation reflected in God We Trust, while at the same time embodying the resilience of the United States as it stepped into its post-war future. Would you like me to expand this into a YouTube-style narration, with pacing? Here's a long, continuous 20-minute style paragraph giving the full details and deep historical background of the 1941 United States 5-cent coin, Jefferson Nickel. The United States of America 1941 5-cent coin, commonly known as the Jefferson Nickel, is a fascinating piece of American numismatic history, one that bridges the calm before America's entry into World War II and the turbulent years that would follow, making it both a collectible and a window into the nation's past. On the obverse, the coin proudly bears the left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, primary author of the Declaration of Independence, and a man whose vision of liberty, education, and democracy continues to influence American ideals. This portrait was designed in 1938 by sculptor Felix Schlag, who won a public design competition held by the U.S. Mint to replace the Buffalo nickel. Schlag's design, though simplified and modified slightly before acceptance, was chosen for its neoclassical dignity and its ability to honor Jefferson while also reflecting a modern, streamlined artistic style popular in the 1930s. Around Jefferson's bust appear the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," on the left side, curving along the rim, and "Liberty" on the right, followed by a small five-pointed star and the date 1941, which immediately identifies its year of issue. The reverse of the coin is dominated by a detailed rendering of Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia estate and architectural masterpiece, chosen because of its enduring association with his life, his work, and his role in shaping America's democratic ideals. Above Monticello, the Latin phrase, e pluribus unum, out of many one, is boldly inscribed, symbolizing the unity of the United States despite the challenges of the era. Beneath the building appears the name Monticello in capital letters, with the denomination 5 cents directly below, and finally, United States of America along the bottom rim. The coin's physical specifications are standard for the Jefferson Nickel series, a composition of 75% copper and 25% nickel, a weight of 5 grams, a diameter of 21.2 millimeters, and a smooth plain edge. By 1941, the Jefferson Nickel had been in circulation only 3 years, yet it had already become familiar in the pockets of millions of Americans. The 1941 issue was struck in 3 mints: Philadelphia, no mint mark, Denver, D, and San Francisco, S, with mint marks placed to the right of Monticello on the reverse. Combined production exceeded 300 million coins, with Philadelphia striking the largest number, which made the 1941 nickel a common coin in circulation for decades, though condition and strike quality varied significantly. Collectors today are especially interested in pieces with sharp detail and full steps on Monticello, an indication that the coin was well struck and not worn down, since those steps are often faint. Historically, this coin carries deep significance, as 1941 was the year the World War escalated dramatically and America, though still officially neutral for most of that year, was already gearing up industrially and militarily. The nickel of 1941 represents the last normal year of pre-war composition. By mid-1942, the U.S. Mint altered the alloy to include silver, creating the famous wartime nickels from 1942 to 1945 in order to conserve nickel metal for war production. Thus, the 1941 Jefferson Nickel stands at the crossroads between peacetime coinage and wartime necessity. For everyday Americans in 1941, this 5-cent piece could buy a loaf of bread, a postage stamp, or a bus ride, and it circulated in the hands of soldiers, workers, and families alike, becoming part of the fabric of daily life. Its design elements, Jefferson's image, Monticello, the mottos Liberty and In God We Trust, and the unifying phrase E pluribus unum, all took on heightened meaning during this era, as the nation prepared to defend those very principles on a global stage. Today, collectors prize the 1941 nickel both as an accessible entry into coin collecting and as a historic artifact. Common worn examples can still be found in circulation or bulk coin lots, while high-grade mint state coins, particularly those with full steps, command strong premiums at auction. Proofs were also struck at Philadelphia, offering collectors deeply mirrored examples with sharp detail, and these are far rarer and more valuable. But beyond monetary value, the 1941 nickel tells a story. It speaks of Jefferson's enduring legacy, America's democratic ideals, the resilience of its people, and the looming global conflict that would soon reshape the world. Holding a 1941 nickel today is like holding a piece of history from the threshold of change, a small but powerful reminder of a year when America balanced between peace and war, continuity and transformation. For numismatists, historians, and casual collectors alike, the 1941 Jefferson nickel remains far more than a coin worth 5 cents. It is a symbol of liberty, trust, unity, and a nation's journey into one of the most defining decades of its existence. Would you like me to also reshape this into a YouTube script with pauses, hooks, and dramatic storytelling style so it lasts a full 20-minute video, rather than just a continuous information-rich paragraph? Here's a single, continuous, highly detailed paragraph about the 2004 United States of America 5-cent coin, Jefferson Nickel, designed to last a full 20-minute narration when read slowly, with emphasis on history, design, and context. The United States of America 2004 5-cent coin, popularly known as the Jefferson Nickel, bearing the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and "E Pluribus Unum," is not just an ordinary nickel but a landmark issue that represents a turning point in modern American coinage, because it marked the beginning of the Westward Journey Nickel series, a short but historic redesign program introduced by the U.S. Mint to commemorate the bicentennial of the Lewis and Clark expedition and the broader vision of President Thomas Jefferson, whose portrait has graced the nickel since 1938. On the obverse, the 2004 nickel retains the iconic left-facing bust of Thomas Jefferson, originally sculpted by Felix Schlag, who won a national competition in 1938 to redesign the nickel, replacing the long-running Buffalo nickel. Schlag's portrait of Jefferson is instantly recognizable for its neoclassical simplicity, showing Jefferson's firm gaze and dignified posture, and has long been a symbol of America's democratic ideals. Around this portrait are the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," on the left, the word "Liberty" in Jefferson's own handwriting style to the right, a feature added in 2004 to make the design feel more personal and historically authentic, and the date 2004 with a mint mark directly beside it. The obverse thus connects Jefferson's legacy with America's enduring values of liberty and trust in God. But what makes the 2004 nickels truly historic is the reverse, because in that year, for the first time in over 6 decades, the familiar Monticello design was temporarily replaced with 2 special commemorative reverses that celebrated the bicentennial of the Louisiana Purchase, 1803, and the Lewis and Clark Expedition, 1804 to 1806. Events that Jefferson himself set into motion. The first reverse design, nicknamed the Peace Medal Reverse, features 2 clasped hands, one of a Native American with a detailed wrist cuff, and the other of an American soldier with a military sleeve, recreating the handshake that symbolized friendship and exchange during Lewis and Clark's journey across the newly purchased Louisiana Territory. Above the design are the inscriptions "United States of America" and "E Pluribus Unum," with the denomination 5 cents, and the word "Louisiana Purchase" below, anchoring the design in its historical context. The second reverse of 2004, known as the keelboat reverse, honors the sturdy river vessel that carried Lewis and Clark and their Corps of Discovery up the Missouri River on their way westward. This design shows the keelboat in full detail, with its sail raised and men at work aboard, symbolizing not only the physical journey but also the determination, exploration, and spirit of discovery that defined early America. Like the Peace Medal Reverse, the keelboat design also carries the inscriptions "E Pluribus Unum," United States of America, and 5 cents, with the date and mint mark on the obverse tying it to 2004. Both designs were created to educate Americans about the courage, diplomacy, and vision that expanded the young United States from the Atlantic coast deep into the western frontier. These coins were struck in massive numbers at Philadelphia and Denver for circulation, with San Francisco producing proof and silver-proof versions for collectors. Each piece weighs 5 grams, measures 21.2 millimeters in diameter, and is composed of the traditional 75% copper and 25% nickel alloy, with a plain edge, making them physically identical to previous nickels but visually distinct thanks to the temporary reverses. In terms of mintage, hundreds of millions were produced, ensuring that they circulated widely across the nation, allowing everyday Americans to hold a piece of history in their hands. Yet despite their large numbers, collectors highly prize high-grade uncirculated examples, proof strikes, and those with strong detail or minimal flaws. Historically, the 2004 nickels are significant because they mark the first major redesign of the Jefferson nickel in over 60 years, and they set the stage for further changes in 2005 and 2006, when the obverse itself was redesigned to show a more lifelike forward-facing portrait of Jefferson. For coin collectors, the 2004 nickels are a natural entry point into the Westward Journey series and represent a blend of numismatics, art, and history. For historians, they are tangible reminders of the Louisiana Purchase, a land deal that doubled the size of the nation, and the Lewis and Clark Expedition, which mapped unknown lands, established relations with native tribes, and opened the door to westward expansion. For ordinary Americans, these coins were pocket change, but they also carried with them the story of a bold vision, a handshake of peace, and a keelboat pushing steadily against the current of the Missouri River. Thus, the 2004 United States 5-cent coin is more than just a nickel. It is a miniature history lesson, a commemoration of Jefferson's foresight, and a tribute to the explorers who embodied the spirit of adventure and progress. Even today, collectors and casual finders alike treasure these coins, whether found in circulation or preserved in mint sets, because they capture a fleeting moment when American coinage briefly stepped away from tradition to celebrate exploration, unity, and liberty. Would you like me to now expand this into a proper YouTube-style narration script with hooks, storytelling pauses, and engaging flow, so that it naturally fills a 20-minute video for your coin channel? Here's a very long, single-paragraph narration-style explanation about the United States of America 2005 coin, Jefferson Nickel, with full details and historical background, designed so that if read slowly and with emphasis, it can easily fill 20 minutes. The United States of America 2005 coin, better known as the Jefferson Nickel, is a fascinating piece of American coinage because it sits at the crossroads of tradition and transition, marking the final years of the 20th century and the beginning of the 21st while still carrying the classic design that had defined the nickel since 1938. On the obverse, the coin presents the enduring portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, author of the Declaration of Independence, founder of the University of Virginia, and an intellectual giant whose legacy is tied to liberty, exploration, and education. This left-facing portrait was originally created by German-born sculptor Felix Schlag, who won a national competition organized by the U.S. Mint in 1938 to replace the beloved Buffalo nickel with a new design honoring Jefferson and his Monticello home. Schlag's design, though modified from his original submission to meet Mint standards, became one of the longest-running portraits in U.S. coinage history. Surrounding Jefferson's bust, the inscriptions are carefully placed. "In God We Trust" is found on the left side, curving along the rim in bold lettering, while to the right is the word "Liberty," rendered in elegant cursive script, followed by the date 2000 and the mint mark that indicates where the coin was struck, either Philadelphia with no letter, Denver with a D, or San Francisco with an S, for proof issues. This combination links Jefferson's personal legacy with the national ideals of liberty, trust, and enduring governance. The reverse of the 2000 nickel is dominated by the neoclassical architecture of Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia plantation home, which he designed and modified over decades of his life, embodying both his architectural skill and his enlightenment-driven vision of beauty and function. Above Monticello is the Latin phrase "e pluribus unum," meaning "out of many, one," a unifying motto of the United States that resonates strongly at the dawn of a new millennium. Beneath the image is the word Monticello, directly under which is the denomination 5 cents, and finally, at the bottom rim, the inscription United States of America. The coin weighs 5 grams, measures 21.2 millimeters in diameter, and is composed of the standard 75% copper and 25% nickel alloy that has defined the nickel since its introduction in 1866, except for the wartime silver issues of 1942 to 1945. The edge is plain, as has always been the case with nickels, giving it a simple, tactile feel that has remained unchanged for generations. Historically, the year 2000 was significant because it marked the end of the 20th century and the symbolic beginning of a new millennium, and the Jefferson nickel of this year reflects continuity at a time of great change, still carrying the same design Americans had known for decades. Even as the U.S. Mint was preparing to launch the Westward Journey Nickel Series in 2004 to commemorate the bicentennial of the Louisiana Purchase and the Lewis and Clark Expedition. The 2000 nickel is, in that sense, a last chapter in the long, uninterrupted run of Schlag's original Monticello design before the bold changes that would arrive just a few years later. Mintages were very large. Over 2 billion coins were struck across Philadelphia and Denver, ensuring that the 2000 nickel was a common coin in circulation and easily available in pocket change across the nation. San Francisco also struck proof versions in both clad and silver for collectors, which today are valued for their sharp detail and mirror-like surfaces. While most circulated examples are worth only face value, pristine mint state coins, especially those certified with the coveted full steps designation, indicating that all 6 steps of Monticello are fully struck and visible without weakness, can carry premiums because they demonstrate the quality and precision of the die strike. Beyond its physical and collectible qualities, the 2000 Jefferson nickel is meaningful as a cultural artifact. It symbolizes Jefferson's lasting presence in American life, the enduring values of liberty and trust in God, and the unity of a nation expressed in e pluribus unum. For everyday Americans in the year 2000, this coin could buy a candy bar, pay a bus fare, or accumulate in a jar of change on the kitchen counter, but for historians and collectors, it speaks of an America poised between centuries, grounded in its traditions while looking toward the future. Today, the 2000 nickel holds special appeal because it is one of the last pre-redesign issues, making it a natural stopping point for collectors who want to complete a set of traditional Monticello nickels before the series shifted into a new phase. Thus, the United States of America 2005 cents coin is far more than a simple piece of pocket change. It is a bridge between eras, a continuation of a design that honored Jefferson for over 60 years, and a small but enduring reminder of how coins preserve history, art, and national identity in the palm of one's hand. Do you want me to turn this into a fully engaging YouTube-style narration with hooks,